Hello, hello, it's Chris Baki from Games Previewed, and I'm here to look at No Escape. Let's take a look at the gameplay, and then I'll come back to see what I think. Tightened when the unthinkable occurred. Now you must flee for your life through the maintenance corridors as toxic gas begins to flood the station. Your only hope for survival is finding the last escape pod through the darkened maze of maintenance catwalks and tunnels. Find the escape pod before there is, wait for it, no escape. This is for 2 to 8 players. Each person is trying to escape the maze of this heavily damaged space station about to explode. Okay, so a couple of quick things. There is actually 2 sides to this player board here. This side, as you might see, is for 2 to 4 players, and then this side is for 4 to 8 players. Obviously, it depends on which player count you're playing with. Also, the goal is not to get to a specific place, but just to get off the map, basically, to get off the maze. This is something that took me a couple seconds to kind of get my head around. So think of this as like a really cutthroat Carcassonne, if you like, with the space station themed. You're not playing tiles on yourself to find a place. You're playing tiles on your opponents to extend their maze, basically. So whoever can escape the game board first will win the game. So to set up, we'll place the starting board in the center of the table. We'll place the new path tiles, these little cards about 1/3 the size of a normal tile, face-up stack here in the center. We'll shuffle all the maze and action tiles together. We'll deal 3 face-down tiles to each player to form your secret hand. So this is my secret hand right now. I've got a tile that looks like this, I've got a tile that looks like this, and I've got an action tile that'll let me do some other cool stuff. I've got the draw pile right here, and each player is going to get 3 energy tokens to use as they play. And you can use any method you want to determine who goes first. We'll also take our own little person here, put him in the red dot here in the center, just like that. Oh, and one other fun thing. This draw pile here, if this ever gets to be empty, the game ends immediately, everyone loses because the station explodes. Let's not let that happen. On your turn, you may play 1 action tile from your hand. The action tiles look like this. They just have some text that let you manipulate the board in some way. You must play 1 maze tile from your hand by placing this in any legal position. Now, when the game talks about legal positions, it's really talking about like the Carcassonne way of playing, basically, connecting paths to paths and so on. As the board begins to fill up, every adjacent tile must match. So that's something to be aware of as the game progresses. You can also use one of your energy tokens here, and basically what this does is it lets you gain +1 movement, because again, you're trying to escape this thing. So it gives you +1 movement and gives you the chance to jump over your opponents. After that, you're going to roll some dice. Now, these are my stunt dice here. The actual game will come with 6-sided dice that are numbered 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So you can only move a maximum of 6 spaces with your dice. So if I roll the dice, I would equate this to be a 1 and a 1, so I can move 2 spaces. So I would go 1, 2. At this point, I'll draw back up to 3 tiles in my hand, and my turn is done. Okay, folks, that's the whole game. Thanks for watching. No, I'm just kidding. There's a bit more to it than that. A couple of the tiles that are in the game are these tiles right here. This is basically a teleport, so when you move on to this indicator in the middle here, you may immediately move to the highlighted space of any other teleport in the game, so you can kind of zoop around the board, basically. This guy is a control center. When you reach one of these, you may do one of the 2 things. You may refill your energy, so you started with 3. If you've used it, this is the place to refill it. Or you may use one of these small tiles to just kind of create another little add-on piece to the game. So in the story of the game, the hallways have collapsed, so you're basically creating new hallways as you go. Each blue catwalk square on the maze represents 1 square of movement. Now the thing is, you have tiles like this. This is 1 long square. This is 2 squares of movement. This one's 4 squares of movement. So it's to your advantage if you must play something for yourself to use the fewer spaces of movement for your own, and then slow your opponents down by playing a 4-square like this. There are some other rules to moving the pieces. Basically, if you're here and you want to go here where this green guy is, you can't do it. You're basically pushing that meeple forward there. And what that means is that unless you jump over them, you're always going to be pushing them forward. You jump over them by using one of your energy tokens, basically. So one thing I want to highlight in this game are some of the actions that you can take. If you see a stop action like this, these are actions that can only be played on other players' turns. So stop and replace here, immediately play to replace any maze tile displayed with the tile in your hand. Great way to screw someone over if they've played something you don't like, perhaps. You've got the hallway collapse. You can play this on your own turn, so you'd replace any existing maze tile with a tile from your hand. Switch players, locations with other players. Go through the discard pile, place a new pathway, take some more tiles, and some other stop actions. These are just a few of the actions in the game, and they really give you a chance to backstab and screw other players over and really make the whole thing kind of come alive again. Okay, we're back, and that was No Escape. I really liked the theme of the game. I liked the feeling that you're kind of running through these corridors, trying to find the secret places and the teleportation and everything. I think the rules could use a little bit of work, but I think that's something they can easily fix before the final version of the game comes to you in your homes. I like the action part of the game. I like the Carcassonne, the stab you in the back process. This is not for you if you don't like take that or stab someone in the back kind of games. This is not a co-op game. So with that in mind, I do like this game. I would definitely play this with some friends of mine that maybe they really like Munchkin, but they're looking for something bigger or a little heavier. Yeah, so that has been No Escape. I've been Chris Bakke at Games Previewed. Thanks a lot for watching.